Coming up on today's show.
So some of the things we want to bring forward with us are routines that have been with us forever that we can really rely on.
I use that time often to listen to podcasts, just kind of get my mind focused on the day. And so I don't have that.
I find this has been a really good time to enhance my routines. So I'm an avid walker, but now I've been able to have a longer time. I set a goal of having 10K steps a day.
How routines help when you work from home, today on Keeping You Organized. Hello, welcome to Keeping You Organized. Yes, I am still at home like many of you are. Now maybe a year or two from now when you're watching this you maybe want to go back and binge this season like a lot of people are doing. Maybe we'll be back in our regular studio, but we're not. And that's one routine that's kind of hard for me because I have to figure out where I'm going to be doing the podcast and getting the guests lined up. And it's still not all the same comfort zone that I'm usually used to. But today we're going to bring on Ellen DeLapp from professional-organizer.com. Ellen, welcome back to Keeping You Organized.
Well, thanks, John. I love that we're meeting up in virtually. So this is super fun for me. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's awesome because, the topic is perfect in two ways. Number one, working from home. Now, I know you've been working home for a big part of your career, but
right.
A lot of people are working at home. But routines, this is like an evergreen topic that's always going to be applicable, whether you work at home or whether you work in an office. But there's probably things that we should talk about specifically about working at home. So first of all, why routines in the first place?
Well, routines are such a big soother of our anxiety that we're having right now. And so when you think about routines, just those small bits of consistency, something that we have been relying on for a long time, really make us feel like we're a little bit more in control.
Well, who doesn't like to be in control, right?
Yeah, right. It's distinguishing what we can control, which are our routines, and what we can't control at this time.
Right. Okay, so where do you want to go with this? I know you probably have a really nice plan of a couple points that we're going to talk about. How do we start?
So some of the things we want to bring forward with us are routines that have been with us forever that we can really rely on. And some of those have to do with self-care. I know you've been talking a lot about self-care on some of your other podcasts. So we want to bring some of those things forward, like especially getting a good night's rest. It's super tempting right now for everyone to be staying up later and getting up later and just getting out of their routines. So when you think about pulling some healthy routines forward, like I know we've kind of gotten to some bad eating routines possibly, so we want to rejuvenate those, and maybe just some exercise routines. And, for me, some of the routines that I've been bringing forward I'm just a really big advocate of getting a great night's sleep. So going to bed at the same time and getting up at the same time. Is there a routine you can think of, John, that you've been relying on as you've been through this period, this transition when you're working from home?
Well, yeah, it's interesting. On a positive side, I don't have a commute. So there's 20 to 25 minutes each way every day. I'm almost gaining an hour a day. On the downside, I use that time often to listen to podcasts, just kind of get my mind focused on the day. And so I don't have that. On the flip side, I'm able to sleep in maybe just a little bit longer. I still work out in the morning, but I used to go to a gym. I can't now. So I can get up actually later, still get the workout in, and still be ready to work at the same time, having gained a little bit extra. So we're getting a little more sleep.
So when we're working from home, we might be thinking about, there might have been a routine that we really wanted to start that we haven't had an opportunity, like you're saying, because we might have a little extra time because we're not doing the commute right now.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. You've kind of been working at home, correct, for a long time? Or do you go into an office normally? I guess I don't know.
No, I do work from home. I've been working from home since the year 2000. So yeah, for 20 years, I'm a work from home person.
So have your routines changed at all?
I find this has been a really good time to enhance my routines. So I'm an avid walker, but now I've been able to have a longer time. I set a goal of having 10K steps a day. And so I was able to add on to some of my routines. So
That's
I'm
awesome.
actually like, routines are my superpower, John. So I'm one that creates routines and I help others create routines all the time because it's not the people I work with, it's not their easiest thing to do.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about some of those new routines. We've talked about the ones that we can maybe keep, enhance, tweak a little bit, but there's people that need some new routines to help them when they're in their home office. So we're with Ellen DeLapp, professional-organizer.com, talking about routines and how to implement them when you are working from home, and we'll be right back.
The Organized Home Office from MyOrganized.life. When you work from home, your workspace doesn't have to be bland and boring. Brighten up your home office with organizing solutions from MyOrganized.life. It's just for you. MyOrganized.life. MyOrganized.life.
Keeping you organized, talking about routines that help you when you work from home. And Ellen DeLapp, professional-organizer.com. You've worked at home a long time, and we talked before the break about how, we've got some routines that we maybe had to modify, maybe not so much you since you've been working at home, but how about those people that have some new routines? What are some examples of that?
So I think email has plagued all of us for such a long time. And now's a great time to set up a new routine with email, with checking it 3 times a day and setting more of a routine with that. What do you think about that, John?
Well, I think that's good. I do know that it depends on if you have the notifications, right, turned on or off.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you allow email to interrupt you regularly, whether you're at office or at home, that's something you got to address. We've addressed that in email management podcasts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the idea of maybe checking it as often as you need to, based on your job, I guess.
Right. Exactly. So that kind of leads also into thinking about a new strategy that's called time blocking. So you could create more power periods or productivity times that you have less interruption from colleagues and meetings. And I know we're all Zooming all the time, but maybe working around some of those distractions as well as working around your meeting times. And it helps you with your kids too, because that will help them have their designated school time as well to really work hard on those assignments.
Yeah, I found that, sometimes when you're at an office and you have a meeting, you might be a few minutes when you're doing a Zoom thing, you need to kind of get there and be on time because everyone really does wait, and it maybe amplifies that a little bit. So, yeah, let's talk about that interaction and scheduling and prioritization between maybe your home responsibilities and your work responsibilities, even though it's all kind of mixed in one day.
That's right. It's kind of like a lot of switching between tasks, which can be challenging, but at the same time, you can spend time by these time blocks by knowing, okay, at a certain time I can, take a little break and do a little extra walking or get the laundry switched over, things like that, or check on my kids, how they're doing on their Zoom meetings. So you want to have like some interchanges of these different activities, which can lead to a better workflow overall.
Right, right. Okay, well, I bet let's talk about the final thing. I think when we talked before we started recording this, the whole concept of maybe taking it to the next level, because, there is a little more pressure when we're in an environment where we have both home and the office. How can we actually take routines and put them on steroids?
Well, first, it's really good to track your routines to see how successful you're being, because a lot of us don't give ourselves enough credit for the routines we're doing. So track them to start with. And then next, see where you want to take just a leap on only one of those routines and see where you want to enhance that. And of course, choose something that's a real priority to you so that you know that when you take it to the next level, it might be duration of the routine or frequency of the routine. But by tracking it, you're going to know, hey, I'm really accomplishing my goals.
Right. And now it seems like we're making full circle to those traditional time management and productivity tips that we always talk about on this, whether you're at home or at the office. And really, I think diligence and tracking, blocking out our time, prioritizing, those are all like timeless principles, no matter where you're working from.
Exactly. Whether you're working from home or working in the office, they all apply, and they just make work so much more productive as a result.
Yes. Well, one other timeless principle we have to talk about is your business and how you work with people. So take a moment or two to tell people what kinds of services you provide, how they work with you, and how they get a hold of you.
Well, thanks. So I do work virtually. I'm based in Houston, Texas. I primarily work with clients with ADHD, whether they're individuals or families. And I love the work that I do because it makes such a difference for the people that I work with. My clients are tremendously resourceful, creative, and smart. And so it's a lot of fun to partner up with them and help them achieve the goals that have been eluding them.
Wow, that's great. So, and the website is?
Professional-organizer.com.
Yes, I love that. It's an easy one to remember. Just remember that dash in between professional and organizer, and you'll get the ultimate professional organizer. Well, Ellen, this has been another great episode. I look forward to maybe the day when I can get back into the office. You'll still be in your office at home,
yes.
But we'll have this podcast posted for eternity. And I'm sure the tips that people have, especially as it relates to routines and how you can tweak them and really put them to the next level, I think is going to be good for a long time.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks so much for having me, John.
You bet. Well, there you have it, folks. Let's make a routine, and put it on steroids, as I would say. And I think the one routine that you must do is come back for the next episode of Keeping You Organized.